What is up? Quick video. Wanted to do it on Riftbound because we're getting some information. Admittedly, sort of anecdotal and second and third hand information. Riftbound has a problem. We're 21 days, 3 weeks away from the English release on Halloween in North America. Super excited for it. I did a learn to play. I got a Timo promo, which was pretty cool. Game was fun. There is some sort of jankiness to the game that I think we're going to experience when it rolls out with pre-cons and tournaments and things. But overall, it was a good experience. The textured cards are awesome, and they seem to have, they seem to be doing some good things on the hit rate per booster box, which is nice to see. But Riftbound, make no mistake about it, has a huge problem, and it's a problem facing all of our TCGs right now. But it's probably going to impact Riftbound more than the others. So we're 3 weeks away from release, and we're seeing booster box prices jumping big time. So shipping in the US, TCG player, lowest box, free shipping, $235 American. I think MSRP is closer to the like $100 range. But what we're seeing is distributors and stores are getting their allocations in the last week or two, and I know of stores, and I sort of verified this information as best I can, that have asked for more than 1,000 boxes of Riftbound, and they're getting less than 5% of their request. That's a huge issue, because when we have a TCG that's just being launched, its long-term viability and success really comes down to the game itself. So all of us that like League of Legends want the textured cards and art cards for a collection long-term. That can't happen and have success unless we have a core game being played. And to have that game be played, especially at release, is to get cards in the hands of players or interested players affordably. And I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be shocked if, I got a couple stores locally, and I'd be shocked if between the two they got more than 5 booster boxes. I'd be pretty shocked, because I know of much larger stores that have been around for a long time that are getting sub 50, sub 100 boxes, and we're talking about huge accounts that have been, with distributors for 5, 10, 15 years. And what we're also seeing now, and thankfully, at least, is some of the stores are realizing that their allocations are so low, so they're going to just sell the boxes or the packs in store so that their local players can get their hands on it. And I've heard from a few places that they couldn't even get allocation of the product unless they committed to hosting events and stuff. I'm not sure how true that is. That was something that was told to me locally. But I'm seeing online retailers put up pre-orders now, which is after you traditionally get your allocations, and they don't have storefronts to play in, so take that with a grain of salt. But we have a huge problem, no doubt about it. It's going to be really hard to get boxes. It's going to be hard, and as such, it's going to be hard to get single packs even. The pre-cons, I'm seeing like huge stores that are getting allocated, well, not huge, like large, sizable stores getting allocated, like it seems one of the training grounds or proving grounds boxes, right, which has the 4 decks in it. You take a quick peek back here. The proving grounds box set, it's 2 to 4 player game, 4 decks in it, and it was priced super well. Like MSRP is a great price, but they just can't make enough. And that's a problem of the demand we're facing across the board with all these other TCGs, Pokemon, Magic, everything. Can't print enough cards to supply the demand, the quantity demanded right now in the public. So Riot, credit to them. They're communicating, and as you see here, they're reopening pre-orders of their Origins booster box on their site October 16th at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you're trying to lock in some pre-orders on that, I heard that the shipping and such from Riot was more expensive than you're used to from like Secret Lair, Wizards of the Coast, way more expensive than Pokemon Center, things like that. So if you have a US address or PO box or something, or a friend with one that you could ship to, that would be preferable, but they will ship to Canada. So be on the lookout for that October 16th. Other things that I can recommend is find Discords, maybe the Celadon Discord. I'm active in there, and there's a lot of good people in there with good information on the game, and there's a channel dedicated to League of Legends Riftbound card game. So check that out. Shout out to Celadon. They have a great Discord. You can sign up for pings for restocks on things like Riftbound booster boxes or Pokemon or Magic, whatever it is you're looking for, which is awesome. So yeah, we're facing this huge problem with launch. They're going to do multiple waves because I think it's going to be similar to Lorcana, maybe a little more tactfully done, where they're just it's going to be multiple waves to get those cards out. But like, we're already seeing pre-orders of Spirit Forge, which doesn't come out until like the new year, and people are pre-ordering those at anywhere from 150 to 200 Canadian. And if we see a huge shortage here on launch for Origins, we're going to be in for some hurting. I think the first few months are going to be really tough to get our hands on product, and it's not even going to be that popular of a product, which is the most like concerning thing. I know so many people in the TCG space that know nothing about Riftbound. I mean, they maybe are aware of Arcane, they maybe play League of Legends, but they didn't know a card game was coming. So we're like in early adopter stage right now. So if you're in the thick of it, in the niche of trading card games, League of Legends, you know about it, but just think, like, if it gets any more popular, knowing how popular the game is in Europe and what they're doing with the IP, trying to make an MMO, all these other games, TV shows on Netflix, like this, if the game itself is good and they figure out some of the jankiness and the clunkiness of the gameplay and tone down the errata, which seems to be huge at this point, we're in for a tough sledding, I think. So yeah. Anyone else that doesn't know, this is a Worlds bundle. Just a quick update. October 28th, 9 a.m. Pacific. You can go to the Ride store and pre-order limit of 2. It's got an exclusive Teemo promo. I believe oversized art cards for where they're hosting the Worlds events. So 3 different locations. And then you got the smaller cards here, deck box, playmat, nice storage box, things like that. Sharp looking package. I expect that Teemo promo to easily sell for, you know, I'm thinking at least 75 bucks. But it's the Panda Teemo, big fan of that one. Skin I'll use in the game sometimes. So yeah, new TCGs are in for hurting right now. It's a great time to have a TCG and maybe put a new TCG out there in terms of sales and selling, you know, enough units, but it's hard to keep it going, I think, if, you know, the market is bogged down by all the printing of all these different TCGs. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully the game takes off. Be a bit of a bumpy ride early, as I said, because some of the rules and stuff, they're still sort of ironing out some of the intricacies and stuff, because some of these games can be quite complicated. But it is a unique enough game, I feel, that it will have a pretty strong player base. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm going to do a new video soon about making my own TCG online store. I'm going to try and go at it and set some goals and keep you updated along the way. So stay tuned for that. You can check me out. I reopened my eBay store today, Moth Dog TCG, mostly Pokemon cards. Got some Chinese Riftbound, and I'll be going and trying to add all kinds of singles from different games and stuff for you guys. So go check that out if you want. But until next time, peace. Sorry about that. I just wanted to add something. So I finished the video, I went into editing to add some music, all the fun stuff. And it just sort of occurred to me that maybe this video might come across as in a different way than intended, in the sense of generating FOMO and stuff. That's not what I'm trying to do. Trying to inform people that I think in the short term prices are going to go up before they go down. But I thought a really good example might be Lorcana. Now, Lorcana came out originally at a different time, right? It was, if I check my collector app, right? Like, we're talking, it's been over 2 years, 2.5 years ago, ballpark. So it came out I mean, TCGs weren't as hyped as they were now. Magic was going through like some just crushing things, dropping, huge lots on Amazon and things like that, and prices were tanking. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was in the early stages, and it wasn't received super well. Cards were so easy to find. Booster boxes were under $100 US. I was getting boxes at like 130 easily Canadian, which was great. So Lorcana a couple years ago, I know a different thing, but there was hype around Lorcana, and box prices got up in excess of $500 Canadian for the first chapter. There's a lot of speculation there. Ravensburger didn't really have any experience with TCGs and secondary market stuff. But what we see on the, even dating back a full year here on TCG Player, it was the ebbs and flows, man. So with the Riftbound, I expect it to follow similarly like Lorcana did early on. There was this huge pump, and then it lost more than 50% of market value on the secondary market. Ravensburger was just pumping out boxes and trying to get the cards out there into the hands of players so that the game could proceed, so it could sustainably grow from there out. That was the most important thing for them, for a TCG that focuses on gameplay. So with Riftbound, I expect short-term prices to go up on Origins. Try to lock in on the Riot site if you haven't locked in a pre-order yet. Check your local game store, ask if they're going to do anything for boxes. If there's any way you get your hands on pre-constructed decks if you just want to play. Personally, I really want to play the game. I haven't played a TCG competitively since Magic. No games really tickled that itch. One Piece is decent. I've played it a couple times. But Riftbound's something I want to get into from the ground up kind of thing. I believe in the IP. I think they've done a great job. Hopefully the game is good. But I also want to collect it. I like having sealed boxes and singles. And I like grading. And I like investing sort of in that, right? So it's a unique opportunity for us to get in on the ground floor of a IP, but don't FOMO. Definitely don't pre-order Spirit Forge boxes at this point. I don't see a point in that. We just saw what's happened in the last 2 weeks. Stores getting allocations and realizing, oh my god, I can't fulfill all these pre-orders I sold, and now they're going to be in trouble a bit too, right? And then they're canceling orders. So don't lock up your money for months before the store even knows how many they're going to get. Let's see what happens. Try to secure stuff at, under $200 Canadian for a booster box. I think that's a fair price right now, and those are popping up here and there. I'm in at Denerion for $175. Another shop had like a bundle with all the decks in a booster box for like $2 something. So I'm there. Pre-order from a place called Nave. Hopefully they can fulfill. I'm not sure if they will, but I haven't heard anything. I'm just trying to get at the end of the day, get 1 or 2 boxes is my goal. I've got pre-orders out for 5 or 6 boxes. If they all fulfill, great. I'm just not super optimistic on that. And with stores focusing locally, it's going to be even harder for some places to get product, for some people to find it online. So let's be patient. If you don't get it right away, you don't get the Riot pre-order in a week, let's just maybe hold off a bit. I do foresee them printing a crap ton of this game. I think they realize how much they need to print, and they're trying to address it quickly. So we'll see where it goes. So don't FOMO. Try to get in at under 200 Canadian plus tax. If you're a little over 200, taxes in and shipping in, I think that's fine. I think that's a low risk play, but I expect some pretty wild price swings on Riftbound. So let's just keep that in mind. And just looking at what Lorcana did, even October of 24 is like a year and a half after release, and it was down at 260 US, bumped up to 400 early this year, dropped right back down into the low 200s, back up to 350. I don't know if Riftbound will be as volatile 2 years post release, but I expect the first year and a half I expect there to be quite a bit of volatility and a few points where we can get in affordably, hopefully. But I could be wrong. But yeah, don't FOMO, don't pre-order Spirit Forged. Try to get product for Origins only at this point. If you want to play the game, try for the Proving Grounds or the pre-con decks. I think those are the sort of the least desirable products. They're not going to be speculated on as heavily, so they're made for the players. Similar to, like, you know, starter decks and Pokemon, or decks and Magic, things like that. The old precons and things like that. They're not meant to be super powerful decks, but they get the cards in the hands of the players so they can go and play, and you can sort of build a base of cards moving forward. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll talk soon. Peace.